Welcome to the Region of Murcia Trophy, the second day here in the beautiful city of Cartagena. It's been another scorching day down in the race village and a very long wait waiting for racing to get underway. We did manage to get two races in both the Soto 40 fleet and the TP52 fleet going today and completed. And in fact, we got three races in the TP52 fleet, so we've got Tim Burnell from Ngoni and Ross McDonald from Bribon to talk about their topsy-turvy days that you guys had out on the water today. But before we do, here's a little bit of an introduction into life in Cartagena. Cartagena has been a magnificent host to the Region of Murcia Trophy for the past 4 years. On the southeast coast of the Iberian Peninsula, it's become a favourite among sailors and fans on the Audi MedCup. In 2010, high winds and huge swell dictated a spectacular week of sailing. The racecourse is lined with impressive rock cliffs and rugged mountains. The weather can only be described as unpredictable.
The interesting thing is that you have some days of strong winds and other days with no winds at all. No? I mean, with no wind at all you cannot sail, but with light winds you can. No? So this is the good thing.
This historic city is rich in naval heritage and mineral resources. Architecture from all different ages show it, including a Roman amphitheatre dating right back to the 1st century BC. Tradition and competition, an inviting mix for the thousands visiting the city this week. Yeah, a big crowd out there today to welcome the boats back to the dock after what was a really long day waiting out on the water. But here are the highlights from the first races of the day in the TP52 fleet and the Soto 40s.
Racing got underway after a 2.5-hour delay on Thursday. Racing was held in about 8 knots of wind at the start when the sea breeze finally came in, and Audi Azura sailing team got the best start on the left-hand side of the course. The first beat was very difficult to read. Audi Azura sailed the best, leading around the first mark with a nice lead in these tricky light air conditions for this not optimum boat for downwind sailing in the light. Quantum was close, sailing a better race than in recent times, but Audi led around the left-hand side going into the gate. Telefonica Bribon was always in the hunt today, a very fast boat in these conditions. But Audi managed to get a nice jump at the end of the second beat, give themselves a good buffer. The last run saw the situation develop with a nice threat coming on Audi Azura from Quantum, but they did enough to hold the lead. The Italian-Argentinian team did enough to stay ahead, take the win, congratulating each other in these difficult conditions, ahead of Quantum Racing that finished a good second. The Soto 40 fleet was on the same course also. The best racing was in the middle of the pack today. Ngoni had a good race, but it was NH Noticia that sailed the best to take the win of this first race. The last luffing match between the Australian team and Iberdrola saw off the threat of this fast-reaching boat. They came in third. Iberdrola was fourth.
So a great start to the day for the Spanish team NH Resorts, with British team Ngoni in second in the Soto 40 fleet after race 1. Patagonia by Australia, the team who only got onto a Soto 40 a couple of days ago, coming in for third there in front of Iberdrola, a very unfamiliar position for them to be in fourth place. Looking at the leaderboard for the TP52 fleet, Russian team Synergy on top there after a great day yesterday as well. Quantum Racing in second, Audi Azura sailing team third, and Spanish team Bribon in fourth. Well, but before we chat to these guys about the first races of the day, let's have a look at the second races, how they went.
The second race for the TP52 class on Thursday was sailed in a dying breeze. The left or the right-hand side of the course, it was going to be very difficult to decide. Synergy was unclear. The right-hand side, was that going to be the place to go, or the left? Halfway up the beat, it was very clear that Ran on the right-hand side had probably not made the right decision. the leaders were going to come from the left-hand side at the first mark. Synergy was very close to container. The racing was still wide open as the buoys died on this leg. At the end of the first run, Ran had made a very good move forwards and chose the right-hand side of the course for the second beat. But Bribon had been sailing consistently well and fast and had stayed in contention the whole way up. They had led for quite a lot of the race. Ran had passed them on this second beat, but the two of them were neck and neck at the top mark. A big right-hand shift meant that the offset mark was sailed under spinnaker. The last run, especially the last half of the last run, saw the two of them dueling for the finish line. Ran was in control, but a late jibe allowed Bribon to surge lower, and a last-minute jibe again for both of them saw Bribon just take the win from Ran by only half a boat length.
Okay, here's the TP52 leaderboard. Bribon in the lead for after two races today, with Synergy Racing and behind, and Audi Azura Sailing Team in third place. Now, I know you guys thought you were just coming along today to watch a bit of tally, but now we are actually going to have a bit of a chat to you. Tim, if I could just come to you first. This is the first time you've ever sailed in an official race on a Soto 40, your first time at the MedCup. Tell us how it went today.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I come from a background of far 40, so the Soto 40, it's a great boat. I couldn't imagine sailing far 40s out there in 7 or 8 knots of breeze, so loved every minute of it. Huge learning curve. The boys on the boat you know, showing me through it, so enjoying it.
Well, Kevin Sproul raved about your performance out there today. Tell us about the challenges. You had a bit of a hiccup in race 1, didn't you?
We did have a hiccup in race 1. We were leading for a little while, and I got a bit out of phase downwind, and luckily right at the finish there, the Australian lads took on the Iberdrola boys and led us through to get second. But no, it's a really steep learning curve, and the boys on the boat, it's almost like a committee. They're showing me how the road through. There's 3 or 4 new people on the boat this week, so there's no pressure. It's all pretty relaxed. We've
got a lot of Aussies out there this week, don't we?
Probably too many, yeah.
We need to send some of them home, do you think?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, there's a few on our boat, and you know, the Aussie boys are great. I think they're doing really well.
How much of a thrill is it to hold the lead after the first day of racing and be feeling the pressure for tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure whether it's a thrill or not. It's a good feeling. The boys are pretty happy, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Ross, you had a bit of a up and down day as well. Tell us about race 1 for you today.
Race 1 was actually going pretty well for us, and then we had a bit of an incident with Quantum Racing on the second upwind leg, and so we had to do a penalty turn. It was our fault, really, and just a late tack, and should have been done maybe just a little bit earlier, and we would have been fine. And but then we made a nice comeback from there. We went from 6th to 5th on the last leg. So, you know, although it seemed bad, it ended on a high note. So yeah, it was a good day for us.
Yeah, the second race was obviously really pleasing for you guys.
Second race was a tough race in the sense, and for everyone, is that it seemed like the wind was about to either quit or do something different.
Yeah.
And so it was tough to read, and it was shifting through, you know, 30 degrees and up and down about 3 or 4 knots in pressure. And a lot of that you couldn't see on the water, so it was difficult making concrete decisions. So yeah, we hung in there, we lost a little bit, and then we caught back up on the run. But the boat's going well, the boys are doing a really good job of keeping it moving all the time, so it makes it easy for me.
How tough is it out there in those really slow conditions?
It is tough, for sure, and you know, it's the most difficult thing is you see things that you want to capitalize on, but you're not really sure what's between you and the next boat. I mean, there's little minefields out there, so you got to be fairly patient.
And you've got the only boat out there that's not brand new this year, but she's coping pretty well, isn't she?
Yeah, and you know, I don't think there's too much difference between the old ones and the new ones, and you know, I'd like to use that as an excuse, but you know, it's not working for us. So it's we struggle more through our own errors than the boat speed.
It's a long season, and you guys have put in a lot of hard work so far. So how much of a thrill is it to be on top of the leaderboard after day 2? Oh,
it's great. I mean, we won this event back in I guess it would have been 2008. So and it was a thrill for us then, and Yeah, and so we love this race course. It's you can get anything here, and when it's blowing, it's probably one of the best places to sail. And we've had some good places to sail this year. So, and when it's light like today, it's a challenge as well. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting spot.
Well, who knows what is in store tomorrow in the Region of Murcia Trophy. We can expect anything when we come to Cartagena, so we'll just turn up at 12:50 tomorrow for live Audi MedCup TV action and see what we get. Hope for the best. See you then.